friend.
Woo! Oh, good one. Ready? Yes. Okay, go long this time. Ready?
Make it funky, brother. TV show. Yeah. You got funky. You got to get on TV show. Yeah. That's right, brother. You got to make it on TV show. Make it. You got to get your little butt on that TV show. Ha. Next week gonna be a robot on TV show. That's right, motherfucking brother. He's gonna eat some soup on the TV show. Ha. Yeah. He's gonna learn to tie his shoes on the TV show.
I mean, I got a lot of drinking to do. I mean, I think I have more drinking to do than some people here. I mean, I got a lot of drinking to do. A lot of drinking to I'm banging one of these bridesmaids tonight. I mean, by the end of the night, she's some people here.
Care package from my friend Dave in Japan. Let's see what we have. Ooh, nothing like a little bit of fish. Smells delicious. Oh my God. These things smell divine. Let's see what else we have. We got instant corn soup. That's good. It's good for you too. And some every burger. Every burger. Let's try one of these. Ooh, they come in little, tiny, individually wrapped packages. How tiny that is. These are good. We got some socks here. Windy Blowy. These are 70 centimeters long. Some socks. That's what the high school Japanese girls wear. Ooh, some sushi. I think it's an eraser. And these are my absolute favorite. Men's Pocky. Fabulous. Crispy pretzel dipped in dark chocolate for the type of person who enjoys the finer points in life. Men's Pocky. Oh, and what good pair of socks would be a good pair of socks without sock glue? I've got the sock touch. And these are my absolute favorite. Mop shoes.
TV show!
TV show.
TV show!
TV show.
TV show. TV show. TV show.
TV show.
TV show.
TV show.
TV show!
TV show.
TV show.
Make it funky, brother. TV show!
Right.
The whole world of independent filmmaking is dying rapidly. This is in my book. You know, I realized the day I walked into Yale Law School, oh my God, have I made a mistake. It's the same as impulse buying when you're shopping. There is now a war going on. Certified Hollywood visionary. My name is Jonathan Krane. My wife, Sally Kellerman's Hot Lips in the movie MASH, Richard Branson, Howie Mandel, Jennifer Jones, Amy Heckerling, Ellen DeGeneres, Robin Wright, Robert Cormier, Rodney Dangerfield, Kirstie Alley, David O. Selznick, Steve Summers, Blake Edwards, Kim Basinger, Bruce Willis, Warren Beatty, Keith Gordon, Peter Gabriel, Peter Sellers, Burt Reynolds, Kate Bush, John Travolta, Bill Gates. I have written a book, the first treatise on the motion picture business. It's called Producing motion pictures, the art, business, and philosophy and science of making movies. People usually consider movies as being art and business, which is what the term show business connotes. But show business is an oxymoron, like jumbo shrimp. In this book, what I do is I organize what I call this accidental industry. It's the only multi-billion-dollar unregulated industry where there's no job descriptions, no job functions. People call themselves whatever they want. So that's what I mean. I created the producer manager, which is a person who actually discovers talent and then puts his money where his mouth is. I have developed movies and financed movies for my clients. The reason I have written the book is because my 20-some-odd years in show business have shown me, first of all, that most people that get in pull up the ladder because they're motivated by the wrong things, fame, fortune, ego, and they want to keep other people out. One of the reasons for my book is to help people find out what their traits are, what they like to do, and which jobs match those, and then how they can get those jobs. So the book is divided into the first principle one is the 5 stages of production. Principle 2 is what does independent film mean, why it's dying, how it can be saved. Principle 3 is the 3 sources of power, or talent, production, distribution. Principle 4 is how the cash flows from the distribution of film in all media. Very few people ultimately end up in a job they like in the movie business and earn a living from it. Too many people enter the business for those wrong reasons, fame, fortune, ego. I believe the proper motivation is what I call the 4 self-commitments. Self-knowledge, self-expression, self-actualization, and self-realization. The reality is that happiness is found in knowing what your traits are, what pleases you, what you enjoy doing, and then doing that. Ultimately, doing a job for money or for fame or fortune will be unsatisfying and will cause you to self-destruct. I have experience in the movie business from 12 or 13 different vantage points. One of the reasons I won the Hollywood Visionary Award at the Hollywood Film Festival, as they say, is that I had a lot of innovative ideas and I get things done people say are impossible. The first 2 films I made were the last 2 Pink Panther films. I said to Blake Edwards, who had told me he had a lot of outtakes, which is footage never used, from Peter Sellers' films, Pink Panther films, and I said, well, why don't we use those outtakes and shoot 2 films at the same time? I did end up making my first 2 movies at the same time in London with the same schedule, the same budget. So that was one of my innovative ideas. The first was called The Trail of Pink Panther. Second was The Curse of Pink Panther. And the first one worked, but the second one, the audience didn't really buy the actor. The most successful genre in the history of the movie business is the fish out of water comedy. Fish out of water means putting someone from another country or planet or place in America. Because Americans love to see their culture reflected through the eyes of an alien. The expense of movies has made all 4 major studios have become vertically integrated, which would have made the hair of Justice Department officials fall out. In other words, Paramount, which is owned by Viacom. Viacom owned CBS, UPN, Showtime the Movie Channel, Flix, Extra, Lifetime, MTV, VH1, and Blockbuster. Warner's owns TNN, TBS, ABC, all the Disney channels, and Fox owns a zillion channels, So that second desire of human beings to watch entertainment at home is the reason these aftermarkets have flourished. Some people argue, well, the internet will help that. And I say, oh yeah? I have a high-definition television with high-definition satellite. It's better than 3D. It's like better than movies. You look like, you feel like you're in the scene. I said, you think people are going to sit at a computer monitor and watch flickering images on a movie for any real money? Movies provide 2 significant emotional experiences for human beings. The first is the shared experience in the dark with strangers in theaters, where the images are 30 feet tall. That's been 100 years, right? The second is freedom of programming. sitting back, putting on a film, pausing it, going getting a sandwich, playing with your kids. It's the same as impulse buying when you're shopping. I have a different view than Bill Gates. I don't care how good his web TV gets in terms of quality, et cetera, et cetera. If you have to log on, it's going to have to be cheap. And this is my conclusion, and people may disagree with me, but I did win the Visionary Award. Because really, since I was 5, I was reading Plato, and I by the time I was 5, I had an entire high school education. I taught myself doing calculus and stuff. But my whole life, I've been concerned about the nature of consciousness and how Aristotle really created the mind-body problem, which is attributed to Descartes. But see, quantum physics has really answered this to some extent. Okay, this is very important. You asked, but this is very important. Man's consciousness, human's consciousness, is critical for the existence of the material world. Without observation, okay, everything is potential waves of potentiality. These waves collapse when something is observed. If man's consciousness is necessary for observation, by the way, this isn't theory, this has been proven, then the nature of consciousness preexists the nature of the material world, which is what Kant didn't mean to prove in the Critique of Pure Reason. But if you ever read that critique, and you read the Transcendental Aesthetic, the first half, where he says we can never know what really underlies reality, and you read the second half, and there's a thing called the antinomies, and he then goes on to say the only way we can have free will, which was the whole mind-body problem, is if there is in fact an underlying nature based on consciousness. And he absolutely concluded exactly what he did want to. But that has now been proven in quantum physics. So here's my opinion. My opinion is that whatever existed before the Big Bang, when the Big Bang happened, everything is energy, okay? But when the Big Bang happened, this energy was all differentiated. And through evolution, even what they call, this kind of stop-jump evolution, we human beings have apperception. We are not only aware, we are aware of our own awareness, which gives us all of our emotions and, our greatness and our horribleness. But individuation, taken to its evolutionary place, is what the 60s were all about and what I talked about earlier. The right to find out who you are and to pursue those things that will make you happy. Now, in 1776, in the Declaration of Independence, the 3 inalienable rights were life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I've written another book called The Pursuit of Happiness in the 21st Century and how to get it. Because the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution were based on the works of Locke and Hobbes. Okay, they believed all men were created equal because man's man was tabula rasa. Everything you learned empirically. Bishop Berkeley was very much the opposite. He was a idealistic monist, like quantum physicists are today. He said everything has to be kind of mind, and what we see is just an epiphenomenon of mind or consciousness, whatever. But the framers of the Constitution were materialistic dualists, and they felt all men were created equal, but meaning that their minds were tabula rasas. And obviously, they didn't really mean that everyone was created equal, because slaves still existed and women didn't have any rights. Okay. In the 21st century, we know from the mapping of the genome, we are not all born equal. We are born with thousands of genes determining our character, our personalities, and these are affected by how we grow up. But what we are all equal in is the opportunity to discover what our traits are and what makes us feel the best when we do it. So the pursuit of happiness has to be those 4 self-commitments. As Plato said, the unexamined life is not worth living. So that's self-knowledge. Self-expression is being free to behave according to who you are. Self-actualization, self-realization is being able to do those things that will manifest what you feel are your greatest traits. So happiness in the pursuit of happiness in the Declaration of Independence was all men are created equal because we're tabula rasas. But after we're born, we're not equal. What it means now is we aren't born equal. We're born with all this baggage, but we all have the equal right to find out who we are and what makes us happy. That is a theme underlying the producing, Krane on producing. And it is actually the title of a second book, because one of my publishers I went to said, you got to write these into 2 books, because I wanted to do them both in 1 book. And I have a lot of philosophy throughout the movie book, but not too much. So I wrote the second book. Does that answer your question? Yes.
That's all I ever saw of that boy was him leaving. Every day it seemed like he left. He never really came to the office, he just left. And sometimes he didn't even say goodbye. That boy was a bit strange in my book. But then my book's not very long because I don't know very many words. How to write them at least.
You need a bigger door.
Well,
You're nobody without a big door.
that boy never did like a door. Never saw a door he liked, and I remember. Always complaining.
Bye.
Bye, Kraus.
I cried.
Good seeing you guys.
Hey, say something about TV show.
I've only seen about 1 episode.
And what did you think?
It was pretty good. It had its ups and downs. It's.
Say something good about TV show.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It's as far as I can tell from what I've heard, it's pretty regular. It happens every week.
What do you think about Dan Kraus, star of TV show?
I had no problems with that. No problems at all.
See, that's the thing about TV show, Kraus. You can be on TV show.
You too.
As a matter of fact, Dan, you will be on TV show. When are we supposed to tune in to watch Dan? Tonight.
Tonight.
Shoot. No cussing on television.
I almost got you there.
Right, word. This is going to be hard.
That's why, remember Matt's shows about TV show imitating life? Well, if there's no cussing involved, then TV show is not imitating life.
There's no imitation of life here. Hit the door.
TV show can't imitate life anymore because you're not allowed to cuss because Timmy doesn't have editing capabilities.
You shooting for a half hour straight and putting it on TV?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. He's not even shooting it.
He's just editing it.
Can you send me money in the mail? Because we need some.
Challenge. Tango para dos was not bad. It was pretty low.
I need that page.
and each time you say it, it means the same thing. Because if it doesn't, if words become arbitrary and sentences don't mean what they're supposed to mean, then we're all totally lost. There's a whole school of thought, this is we are anyway. If you're familiar with, I can't think of the philosopher's name, but T.S. Eliot was profoundly influenced by the guy from The Wasteland, the Hollow Men. All the works of that period were heavily influenced by the concept that true communication is impossible because of the fact that language is a fallible vehicle. But you might say something like, I'm trying to do the show by myself, or something more vague like, I'm not sure what you exactly said, but it was clearly vague enough that you had one idea of what you were saying and she had a totally different one. And they weren't correct, even though you both heard the words and assumed certain meanings ascribed to them. But the fact is, like, I say a sentence like, I like monkeys, you know, and what does that mean? I know what it means to me, and I can think of everything that I think of when I say monkeys, and what I mean by that. And then you might hear it differently, and, you know, you might be thinking little monkeys, you know, circus monkeys or whatever, and and when I say I like monkeys, mean that I like monkeys to entertain me, like I own them or something. And I'm thinking, no, monkeys, you know, the big concept of monkey, that's sort of humans before they were humans, running around in the jungle being free, you know, and, but what does it mean, I like monkeys?
Changing channels.
We promote fish sticks with mayonnaise.
There is something so right about me.
Hey, about it, hey.
No, you
Just
didn't.
dial 1010-420.
Does your poodle have a nappy noodle?
Does my butt look big in these fatigues?
You don't even know it. Changing channels.
Everyone's going to think you're gay if you wear that sweater.
Tell me something.
Sketch comedy, Thursday nights at City Stage, 9 o'clock.
Why do it come downtown to put up with this?
Hi, my name's Bubba Top John. You may remember me from a few seconds ago when I said, hi, my name's Bubba Top John.
Breaking down society, one sketch at a time.
Opus.
Okay, hello?
The other white meat.
Okay, hello?
Changing channels.
Jazzercise Sisters.
2 beers and a Bloody Mary later.
I will kick you in the jimmy.
And now for Goldilocks and
Changing channels.
My is so big.
Mama always said.
Clown jump out of it when I come on, see.
Good
day, bad day. Who gives a...
Changing channels, sketch comedy that keeps you coming.
City Stage.
Sketch comedy every Thursday night, 9 o'clock.
City Stage, downtown.
You didn't tell me that. Make it funky, brother. TV show. That. It got funky. Got to get on TV show. That's right, brother. You got to make it on TV show. Make it. You got to get your little butt on that TV show. Next week gonna be a robot on TV show. That's right, motherfucking brother. He's gonna eat some soup on the TV show. He's gonna learn to tie his shoes on the TV show. Yeah, that's it, brother. Gonna learn to walk go straight on the TV show. Yeah, brother. Educating robots, what we about here on the TV show. Yeah, brother. Man, we get funky, eat some corn on TV show. Drive around naked on TV show. Pull the string on the TV show. Eat some soap on TV show. Bite your mama on TV show. Kill a couple guys on